What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. Oh, you guys, welcome back to Gotta Love Them Movies, your daily dose of movie news. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Brown. I'm here all the time, and this is actually a movie review of the film Run. Run is a new movie on Hulu, streaming now live on Hulu. So if you want to go watch it, go ahead and go check it out. Run is a film starring Sarah Paulson and Kira. I'm going to get her. Kira Allen. I was so close, you guys. Sarah Paulson and Kira Allen. It's a mother-daughter story about Kira Allen's character is she's like a 17-year-old she's the 17-year-old daughter to Sarah Paulson, and she's getting ready to go off to college. She's a homeschool kid, and she's also wheelchair bound. She was born with some medical conditions when she was, well, I guess when you're a child, that's when you're born. But yeah, she was born with some medical conditions that leaves her wheelchair bound. And as the movie progresses, we come to find out that Sarah Paulson's character, her mother, or rather the mother character, is up to some nefarious acts, keeping her daughter from reaching her full potential. That's basically all the more I'm going to say. If you watch the trailer for the movie Run, they give so much more away, and I don't want to delve into that. I will say, if you've seen the I think it was also a Hulu series, The Act, starring Patricia Arquette, about the little girl Gypsy Rose. If you've seen that show, this has a lot of overtones from The Act. Very, very similar in that regard. It's almost kind of like Misery meets The Act. You know, Misery with Kathy Bates and James Caan. It's like Misery meets The Act. That is this movie. I did not have... See, I went into this movie thinking like, ooh, like Sarah Paulson's a great actor. She's so interesting, she's so engaging, and she usually picks like really great projects to be a part of. This movie, it didn't quite live up to what I thought it was going to be. In fact, we watched the trailer just before, like minutes before we turned the movie on. We'd heard of it. Hey, let's watch the trailer for this new movie Run. Have you ever heard of it? No, I've never heard of it. Let's check out the trailer. We saw the trailer. It gives a lot of stuff away about the movie. And then, we didn't know that. Like, we just thought it was a trailer. And then we sat down and watched the movie, and they kind of play it out like beat for beat. Oh, okay, I kind of know exactly what to get from this movie. But yeah, like I said, it's Misery meets The Act. And yeah, let's break it down. Let's talk about the acting. The acting in this film was all over the place. Sarah Paulson delivered a fine performance. I mean, she's Sarah Paulson. She's great in pretty much everything that she does. She delivered a very, very believable performance. Her daughter, however, it wasn't a train wreck. It wasn't a complete train wreck. I started to notice, what's her name? Kira Allen? Kira Allen. I was looking at Kira Allen's acting, and I started getting really annoyed by it, and I couldn't quite put my finger on why. And then halfway through the movie, it finally clicked in my brain. The way the story is told, we, the audience, learn things about certain characters that other characters don't know, right? So we're in on it. Some of the characters don't know what's happening, but we, the audience, we're in on it. But the characters, specifically Kira Allen's character, Chloe, the character of Chloe was reacting to certain things as if she already knew. As if she already knew what was going on. But narratively, her character hadn't figured that out yet. She didn't know what was going on. Her character was her reactions were as though she was jumping to conclusions, but there really weren't any conclusions to jump to at the time she was having those strong emotional reactions. The character of Chloe was she would really freak out about things in a severe way. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, why is she having such a drastic reaction to this thing? She doesn't even know what it is. I mean, we know what it is. We know what it means. But her character doesn't, right? And that was really bothering me. Yeah, I don't know. Is that an acting thing? Is it a directing thing? It may be a bit of both. I'm going to lump into acting. Acting was a complete train wreck, but I don't know. It was especially with Kira Allen's character. She was all over the place, and she did things that just emotionally, from an acting standpoint, did not make sense to me. So I'm going to go, splitting hairs a little bit, I'm going to go 12 out of 20. So let's talk about directing. Again, the acting is kind of the director's job. This movie looked beautiful. The cinematography was really good. I think the pacing points, they hit it pretty well. The storytelling could have been cleaned up a little bit. When the camera lingers on certain things, we're led to draw certain conclusions, the way the movie's edited. All of that lends itself to a suspenseful, kind of tense, driven narrative. And for the most part, it was fine. It was okay. But there were things that the film focused on visually that didn't need to be focused on yet, or this, that, the other, whatever. Again, it's not the worst directing in the world, but I don't know. And again, I keep going back to Kira Allen's acting. She's not a bad actor. It's just the reactions that she was having at the time she was having them just made me want to slam my head against the wall. And just, again, was the acting? Was it the directing? It's got to be a bit of both. So I'm going to give directing straight down the middle a 10 out of 20. There was things that worked really well in its favor, but then again, it just followed these same tropes over and over. I knew, you can call what was going to happen just before it happened. This movie is not interesting in that regard, which leads right into the writing. The writing of this movie, again, it wasn't surprising. I mean, you go in knowing the concept. Oh, it's the act meets misery. It's a mother and her daughter. The mother is keeping secrets. The daughter is trying to go off to college, and there are things that the mother's doing that is preventing that from happening. And it's supposed to be a thriller, but I kind of feel like we all know where this is going. Not that this is a story that's been told and told and told and told, but the ideas and the reasonings. I feel like we've seen this movie before. Maybe not this specific story, but we kind of get the sense. We kind of know what's going on. You can figure it out, and you can predict what characters are going to do. I will say, the very, very end, the last 30 seconds of the movie, maybe the last minute of the movie, I'll even give it the benefit of the doubt. The last 2 minutes of the movie were surprising. Are they important? No. They were a little surprising. I did not... if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. I wouldn't have predicted that happened. But at the same time, okay, cool. It has no consequence on anything. It was fine. It was the last 30 seconds. Okay, interesting enough, I guess. Cool. You go right ahead. But again, the way the story unfolds, there's nothing interesting about this. I'm giving writing a 13 out of 20. Again, not a train wreck, not a completely terrible movie. It was just predictable, and I feel like I've seen it before. The overall takeaway, what is my takeaway from this movie? It's an uninteresting See, here's the thing. My girlfriend and I, we sat down to watch it. We put the movie on. like the tone, and this kind of goes back to a directing thing as well as a writing thing. The tone of the film took itself very, very seriously. Ooh, we're going to give you a thriller like you've never seen. Oh, you're not going to be able to guess what's happening. And no, yep, I got it. Like, nope, I'm up to speed. There is a scene in the middle of the movie that just cracked me up, and it's not supposed to be funny. This is supposed to be a serious thriller, like, oh no, is she, oh, what's gonna happen, that kind of a thing, right? I'm gonna tell you what happens without much detail, so it's still a little ambiguous as to what's happening in the story. I'm going to tell you two events. One, there is this is so stupid. This girl, Chloe, keep in mind she's wheelchair bound. There's a sequence, and they show this in the trailer, so again, I'm not divulging huge secrets here. There's a sequence where she's locked in her bedroom and she has no way out. And because she doesn't have the use of her legs, and she's also kind of like a mechanics minded kind of thing. Like they set the groundwork early to be like, no. Like she has this brilliant engineer mind. She understands like how mechanics work and like how to engineer certain things. So they spend all this time like building up these character traits of hers, that like she's really smart. She's kind of, I don't want to say like a prodigy, but like she really has a strong engineering mind and background, right? And that's presumably what she's going to go off and study at college. So she's stuck in her bedroom, right? And she has to figure out, how do I get out of my bedroom? And she grabs this This is so stupid. I'm going to ruin this whole sequence for you because I don't care. It was so stupid. She made me laugh so hard. She figured out a way that if she was able, she figured out in like her mind. So she's going to fill her mouth up with water. She takes a huge drink of water, but she doesn't swallow it. She just holds it in her mouth. And then she climbs out the window with all these extension cords and a soldering tool. And so she crawls on her elbows, pulling herself forward the whole time, just grunting like no one has ever grunted before. She's crawling on her elbows across the roof, like to get to the other bedroom, to get to her mother's bedroom. And she gets to the bedroom and she puts the soldering iron next to the window and heats up the window. And with as much gusto as she can muster, she goes with all the water in her mouth, shattering the window. Okay. Why couldn't you just use the soldering iron to like punch the window out? Like, why do you have to go through this whole engineering gambit just to get us to this place to say, oh, she had to figure out a super high-tech Ethan Hunt Mission Impossible way to get inside of her mother's bedroom, just to get out of her own bedroom, right? And it was so contrived, and it was so stupid. Like, this is where her engineering background as a teenager gets us. This is what she was able to figure out. Just punch the window. Just put just get a towel or a blanket or something on your hand. Do the same thing, crawl across the roof, and then just punch the window out. Same effect. You don't need the soldering iron with all these extension cords. I thought she was going to use the extension cords to like lower herself down to the floor or like to the ground level. Nope. Okay, so that was number one. Number two, I said I was gonna tell you two things. So that was number one that really made me laugh. The second one is because she is in a wheelchair. She needs like a lift device to take her up and down the stairs. Well, the lift device had been disabled. So what does she do? She throws her wheelchair down the stairs and it tumbles. Okay. And then I think it was an accident. I think the thing broke. She fell and she just like tumbled down the stairs. It was so silly. The way that this happened, it was so like, did she break her arms? The way she fell, and you're like, oh, she must have broken both of her arms. How's she going to get out of this? No, it the whole thing was so contrived. It was so silly. And when it happened, Kim and I just laughed and laughed. Like, we wanted to go on this journey with these filmmakers and with these actors and the story. And like, all right, you're going to give us like a strong thriller of like mother-daughter thriller. Ooh, what's going to happen? And it just turned out so silly. We just had our own MST3K commentary throughout the second half of the movie because it got wacky. It got silly. Again, not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it just got silly. So my takeaway from this movie is a 5 out of 20, which leads us to the overall effectiveness. How effective was this movie? Did Hulu hit the mark? Did they accomplish what they set out to accomplish? I argue no. I'm giving this movie a 3 out of 20, not because it's a bad movie, but if they really wanted to give the audience like a really good thriller experience, this was not it. This was not it. The acting from Kira Allen, whom I will say, I give it props to the filmmakers. Kira Allen is an actual wheelchair-bound actor. So to put someone of her specific unique situation in a role like this, good for them. Like, hats off to them, because like this is what cinema and filmmaking, this is what we need more of right now, is more inclusivity, more people to be represented and give jobs throughout Hollywood. So I think that was awesome. But her acting, well, she is not, it's interesting because you can see she is not a bad actor. She was just making bad acting choices. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, and again, it goes back to the reaction. Is that a directing thing or is that an acting thing? I think it's a bit of both. She was overreacting to pieces of information that she didn't have enough information to have those types of reactions to. So while she's not a bad actor, her acting in this movie was not very good. Sarah Paulson was great from start to finish. It's just sad that this movie did not deliver on the same kind of performance that what Sarah Paulson delivered. Anyway, I don't think that this movie was very effective at all. So if we add up all of those scores together, that gives us a grand total of...
What's all that about a German pilot?
Oh, nothing, dear. Nothing at all.
What do you mean, nothing at all?
Well, I just had a German pilot in for ham and eggs this morning, that's all.
What? Wait, say, what's going on here?
Now, Clem, don't get excited. I'm just going to draw you a bath.
I've had a bath and I'm not excited.
That's right, a 43 out of 100. I am giving Run an overall score of 43 out of 100. It's not a terrible movie. It's not a train wreck. It had so much more potential than what it delivered us, and it was very cookie cutter. It was very paint by numbers, and I kind of feel like I've seen this movie. Well, I kind of have. I saw the show The Act, and that was way better than Run. Way better than Run. It had some like hokey tropes in it. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. If you want to waste an afternoon, go for it. I guess it's an enjoyable thing to have on in the background while you check Facebook and check your phone and send your emails and all that. But anyway, guys, what did you think of Run? Did you have a chance to see it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere in between? I would be interested in hearing your thoughts down in the comment section below. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like. And if you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Weird Al Yankovic would want you to do. Dun, 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 dun.